So why don't you give me a strength check for Star Knight, if you would please?
Oh, I rolled a whopping 8.
All right. Star Knight, you grab the crane and exert as much force as your armor's boosters can muster, but it is a massive weight and is definitely beginning to collapse under the weight of the ice. A powerful sort of vortex wind kicks up from beneath you, providing a bit of lift as Johnny creates a whirlwind down in the street below. It's providing a slight boost, but you're not sure it's going to be enough. Now, at this point, the few people who are still on the streets who are looking for shelter, and like a number of people are now looking up in alarm, going, "What is that?" And a number of people are beginning to scatter from the surrounding area as quickly as they can. But there are also a bunch of cars packed on the streets with people who are basically gridlocked. A number of them are looking up through windshields or out windows, but there are also shadow of the tottering crane. All right. From nearby Freedom Hall, Bowman, you and Dr. Metropolis see as you are arriving the glow of Star Knight's aura as she is struggling with the heavy construction crane.
I am needed. I start flying in that direction, and if I can get close enough, I would like to use one of my powers to make their burden a little bit easier.
All right.
City sculpting. Shouldn't be too hard to hit that target.
All right.
As soon as there we go. That should be enough to hit a pretty much stationary target, I guess, at a 13. And what I'd like to do is transform it from steel and whatever else is heavy there to something like I guess a styrofoam insulation type material, which would be much, much lighter and a lot easier for them to take care of.
All right.
In the meantime, I'll run as close as I can as well and just start trying to direct people, since I don't think I've got anything in my quiver that can handle that kind of a crash, but I'll try to at least get everyone moving the same direction so they're not competing for space.
Bowman, you're able to try and get people off of the streets as quickly as you can and move everyone out of the way. Dr. Metropolis, you transform the substance of the crane, and there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that Star Knight is able to easily move the considerably lightened superstructure without too much difficulty. The bad news is that the structure of the crane is no longer capable of supporting all of the ice that has built up on it. It collapses in Star Knight's hands, and hundreds of pounds of shattered ice fall from the crane in a shower of massive hailstones, each of them the size of a small boulder that shower towards the street. Johnny, your whirlwind catches some of the falling ice, and a number of large chunks of it pretty much just sort of stop falling about maybe 5 stories above the ground and just sort of hang there, suspended in the powerful updraft. But a lot more ice is falling down to the street. Star Knight, you and then Bowman, what are you doing?
So what I have in my hands now is basically just a gigantic piece of styrofoam.
Pretty much just a big chunk of styrofoam wreckage. Yeah.
Yeah. So assuming it can't do too much damage if it were to, I mean, I sort of want to throw it away. It's so windy. I don't know if it'll get sort of blown away.
You think that if you were to throw it onto the top of the superstructure, that the exposed girders and the like would hold it in place well enough, and it's too light to do any damage?
Yep. That's what I want to do. And then as soon as possible, I want to direct my attention toward those 5 falling pieces of ice and maybe try to melt some of them with my Star Sword.
Okay. Why don't you give me a ranged attack roll with your Star Sword?
Sure. Well, I rolled a 1.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You want to use your hero point? You still have 1.
I'm going to save it and hope that my teammates can do it.
All right. Bowman, a shower of giant chunks of ice is falling to the street above you.
I was gonna see if maybe I could use my bola arrows to kind of like tether the ice together and leave something like a rope for Star Knight to grab onto to keep it from falling.
All
like
right.
kind of make a net as like a team up thing.
Okay. You fire basically a sort of a net arrow that spreads wide enough to catch a lot of the ice in its steel mesh. The arrow flies past the shower of ice up where Star Knight can swoop down to catch it, and essentially produces basically just a giant bag that holds most of the falling ice, so that Star Knight can lift it out of the way.
As a note, he calls this arrow specifically a snarrow.
Excellent. All right. Once the damaged crane and the falling ice are removed as immediate threats, you're all able to regroup with Daedalus at Freedom Hall. I'm going to give everybody a hero point. So now you should all have 2. And Daedalus, you've been monitoring the situation, and your teammates have handled the immediate problem, but there are going to be any number of others in fairly short order. What you do know at the moment is whatever the nature of this unusual sudden winter storm, it is growing in intensity, and the temperature is dropping, and the sudden whiteout conditions are blanketing Freedom City. With it being early summer, of course, all of the city's equipment for dealing with snow and winter conditions is mothballed and put away for the time being. And so there is definitely complications occurring throughout the city. Traffic gridlock not being the least of them.
One of the other things I'm going to have him check on is at the very least set an alert to monitor the power stations in the city, because with all the people heading inside and probably trying to turn up the heat, I wouldn't be surprised if something gets overloaded.
In fact, you think that is very likely.
All right. In which case, I know it's not under the very flashy heroics thing, but one of the things he's going to do is try to get the infrastructure as hardened as possible. basically, as much as possible, get alternative sources of energy up, check for issues with blackouts rather than the whiteouts. And I honestly don't know how much he could do for actually helping with the coordinating the efforts, but for things like plowing.
You start doing what you can as far as making sure that Freedom City's infrastructure is operating. Dr. Metropolis is able to provide some insights and in that regard. But Doctor, you can already feel Freedom City beginning to strain slightly under this sudden assault. As Daedalus pointed out, the load on the city's power grid is considerable as heat in every building in the city, goes on, and everyone is scrambling for shelter from the storm.
Steve, could I just blast up real quick into the stratosphere? I just want to see what it looks like, above the storm.
Star Knight, you soar up high above the cloud level, almost to the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. And from high overhead, it looks as though there's an almost sort of circular shape of swirling clouds that is situated over Freedom City. The area all around it is essentially clear and looks essentially like the same beautiful summer day that you saw earlier. It's only in this immediate area that this storm has somehow sprung into existence, and it's just hovering there.
Okay. Yeah, I won't spend a lot of time up there. Then I'll come back down.
You're on your way, in fact, almost on your way, all the way back to Freedom Hall when Star Knight, from your high vantage, you can see out in the Century Bay, you can see that large chunks of ice are already forming in the bay. And from your vantage, you can see that there's the Kingston ferry that runs between Kingston and Riverside across Century Harbor is out in the water. And there are huge, almost icebergs that are floating in the water. The ship is making its way to shore as quickly as it can from the looks of things, but it is also definitely endangered by these large floating chunks of ice.
I want to fly out there, and on my comms, I just want to say, Frosty's revenge here is getting, real serious, real fast. And, this clearly looks like a targeted attack on Freedom City, because I share with the others that, it's clear everywhere else, although that information was always already a little available. But then I'm headed toward the ferry and those little icebergs that are forming.
All right. What's everybody else doing?
I'm going to have Daedalus take a quick look at the possible villains that might be behind something like this, people with cold manipulating powers, and check to see what their status is, whether they're known to be incarcerated, etc.
All right.
Dr. Stratos, possibly the Mad Maple if he's gotten an upgrade.
Madam Zero, perhaps.
Yeah. It turns out, in fact, the database has quite a number of cold-using super criminals, many of whom are at large. All right. Star Knight, you head out flying low across
I'll
the bay.
respond to Star Knight's call also. So
Okay. Johnny, you catch up with Star Knight in a moment, and zipping along the surface of the harbor, splitting a wake of freezing water, some of which basically almost sort of freezes in the air as it passes behind you. You catch up in short order. If it weren't for your hyperactive metabolism, you would be having some difficulty. It is very cold. And you are approaching the ferry called the Artemis. It is moving as quickly as its sort of chugging diesel engine allows it to, and large, heavy chunks of ice are moving towards it. You can see that the deck of the ferry is crowded with people, most of whom are huddled together as best they can, as they are all dressed very poorly for the sudden cold snap. What are you doing?
I would love for maximum dramatic effect just to sort of turn on the Star Sword and hold it in me and barrel like right through the biggest piece of ice, or at least the one that's most menacing toward the ferry, right? Just sort of,
Yep.
I could let them melt it and split it in half, if that's possible.
All right. Star Knight, you drop down pretty much a short distance ahead of the prow of the Artemis, and your Star Sword flaring to light in your hands as a large floating iceberg moves in towards the ferry, and it's trying to turn, but it's too slow. You're able to swing your Star Sword, and in a blazing arc of light, it cleaves the ice in two. There's a hiss of steam released from the superheated water where the iceberg is cut, and the two parts of it just sort of drop away to either side and flow around the Artemis's wake. The ferry is safe for the moment, but from the looks of things, as you take a look, you hope you can do that another half dozen or so times, because it's still quite a ways from shore and making its best possible speed. But there's still a number of potential threats.
And how many people are on board?
At a quick guess, you'd say probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 150.
Oh, God.
Sounds like you need backup. About Freedom Hall is this location?
This is out in the harbor, so it's a good probably 10 miles away.
Okay, it'll take me 5 rounds doing city shift teleports using both standard and move actions to get there, unless we have a vehicle that can go faster.
Then you can teleport.
Extended?
I was going to say, doesn't Dr. Metropolis have extended teleport?
Maybe not the power level 10 version. Let's see.
That's
accurate,
possible.
change direction, change velocity, turnabout. No, he does. He has teleport 8, which is 1 mile and a move action.
Yeah, well, we'll call it close enough. You're
okay.
Able to be there by the time this is all happening.
Sounds good to me. Okay. What I want to do then is see if I can sense any wreckage or whatever that's beneath the water at the bottom of the bay, and try to bring it up in the path of that the ferry is taking, and try and move it or shove this these icebergs out of the way and clear a path.
Okay. pulling up a variety of sort of scrap and other materials from the depths of the harbor, Dr. Metropolis forms a kind of wedge, essentially, that you push through the water that forms a protective shield ahead of the Artemis and helps to push aside some of the icebergs out of its path.
And how quickly, like a speed 14, if I were to start taking people one or two at a time to the shore, how quickly does that allow me to do that?
Well, you would basically be able to evacuate the ferry almost entirely before it actually got to shore.
So, I mean, I can start doing that, just taking people one or two at a time, zipping them to the shore and back.
Indeed, by the time Star Knight and Dr. Metropolis have brought the Artemis safely into the pier, Johnny has basically cleared everybody off of the ferry and into the nearby building where the Port Authority personnel have been setting up an emergency shelter. So they quickly begin supplying the passengers with blankets and hot water bottles and the like to begin to deal with their exposure to the cold. You round up everything with the ferry and get folks in place, make sure that there aren't any serious injuries or the like. And you are heading back about to head back to Freedom Hall when there's a set of flat screens in the Port Authority terminal, and they all go staticky for a moment. Also in Freedom Hall, as you are monitoring, something cuts in on the television and radio broadcasts, and an image resolves the face of a blue-skinned woman beneath a transparent face shield in some sort of protective white suit. Hello, Freedom City. For 50 years now, I have been trapped in this containment suit. Thanks to human cruelty and the whims of chance, the air itself is deadly to me. She dramatically releases the seals on the helmet visor and lifts it. Now, you all know how that feels. I am Madam Zero, this city's greatest scientific mind. And my gelid engine has transformed Freedom City into a world where I can finally thrive at your expense rather than the other way around. But I'm not so cold-hearted as you might believe. This blizzard is but the barest taste of my engine's power, a warning allowing you all time to flee to safety. Were I a crueler woman, I would have simply frozen you all where you stood forever. But don't impose on my kindness and generosity. The temperature will continue to drop until no one can survive, except for me, of course. And then Freedom City will truly be able to live up to its name. The screens go black.
That answers that question.
Yes, you definitely called that one.
Yep, sounds about right. I'll
think,
say Bowman, when he was just about to comment to Johnny whenever Johnny disappeared to go to the port. He's like, "Can you believe that we really thought we'd have a day off? Oh, and you're gone."
Yes.
Great. I'm gonna try to find some warm gear. I made fun of Centuria for suggesting a fur-lined version of my outfit, and now I kind of regret it.
There
Like
is,
standing
fortunately, Freedom Hall is well equipped, so there is some Arctic survival equipment there, some warm parkas and the like that you can use to supplement your uniform.
I think.
It is.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go right ahead.
Oh, I think Daedalus is going to take some offense at the greatest scientific mind commentary, and is going to start trying to apply his big brain to trying to track down exactly where the effect might be originating from. Basically looking for beam-like changes in the temperature, odd transmissions, along whatever spectrum makes sense. Would that be a investigation check to search for that kind of thing? Or?
That would indeed be appropriate.
Excellent.
Is this someone we're familiar with?
Yes, Madame Zero is a well-known super criminal. In fact, her name is Victoria Leonard. She was a medical researcher in the 1950s who was doused in her own experimental cryogenic chemicals. But she survived the exposure, but her body was transformed such that she could no longer endure temperatures above freezing. She became a criminal and fought with the original Raven for a number of years. She's a brilliant cryogeneticist and has harnessed her unique condition and her advanced understanding of cryonics for a number of cold-based weapons. Daedalus, you begin doing what you can to track the source of this effect, but so far, leads are frustratingly limited. You think that it is likely, from what you have seen thus far, that whatever is generating the effect is in the area. That is to say, that the gelid engine that Madame Zero spoke of is somewhere within this area that it's generating, rather than outside of it. But beyond that, you haven't been able to pinpoint it.
That's 30-mile radius that we have to check for.
Perhaps it's in a central location so that it can spread that effect evenly. Is there anything in the center point that you might locate?
Well, depending on the center is a little difficult to say with any certainty. Given the outer edges of the storm, you could narrow it down to an area of a couple of miles across, which basically looks like Midtown.
How long would it take me to start checking that area?
Ordinarily, you'd be able to do it pretty fast. But the problem is that everything is icing up really quickly. That's going to slow you down a bit. If you're slowing your speed to be a little more cautious, it'll still take you maybe an hour.
Here's a thought. She must have a massive power source in order to make this effect happen, which means either she has a generator that's as powerful as those that power the entire city, or she may be tapping into the city's sources. I'm going to try and use my city senses to try and track the electrical energies and flow and see if there's anything that's being a major drain on the system.
All right. Will you give me a perception check for Dr. Metropolis?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Not bad. 28.
Indeed. Extending your senses out across the city, you can sense that the demands on the city's power grid are increasing and are beginning to approach a critical level. However, although demand across the grid is increasing pretty much everywhere as heat and environmental systems in buildings across the city are drawing more and more energy, you don't sense any point that is particularly drawing an excessive amount of energy beyond that. It seems spread out pretty widely. And as you said, it would definitely be a considerable energy drain, and you're not sensing that across the power grid.
She has her own power source. All I'm sensing is the general drain throughout the city. This will make it a bit harder.
I'm just curious, Steve, like, what is the temperature we're talking about now? I mean, it's sub-zero.
Well, the temperature has definitely dropped below freezing, and it is continuing to drop. Daedalus guesses that it may drop as much as a good 20 or 30 degrees centigrade below zero. It's going to get very cold. It may get as cold as it is possible to get under earthly conditions. And there's honestly no way of telling if it will continue past that point or not, given the sort of unnatural nature of the storm.
Yeah, I'm worried about people who don't have shelter, homeless individuals and such, right?
Anyone exposed to these conditions is going to begin suffering frostbite in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. If there, are neighborhoods where like large numbers of, unhomed individuals are, I don't know, I think Star and I might try to zip out to those neighborhoods and see what's going on there.
Okay.
Can I go ahead and maybe start searching?
Yep. You absolutely
as
can.
the others continue their efforts, and maybe if their efforts pay off before I find anything, they can radio me or communicate with me.
Daedalus.
Would I be able to aid with basically looking for some of our old hideouts and possible equipment stores? I'm trying to think of ways in which I might be able to help direct the search.
Okay.
The laboratory where she was transformed, perhaps?
Always a good place to gloat from.
I was going to say, unfortunately, that place has been long since out of business. It hasn't operated since the early 1970s.
Which means it's vacant.
When you did your search to figure out where the cold weather was coming from, did you also try to see if you could figure out where the signal that she sent out was from? Like whenever she sent her little gloat about being the smartest? Did your sensors pick up anything that might narrow that down?
Unfortunately, real world physics, it'd be difficult to trace the signal after the fact. But if you're willing to let me make a check for it.
Why don't you give me a technology check for Daedalus?
Actually, I'm going to make use of my skill mastery and just take 10 on it for a total of 29.
Okay. Daedalus, you begin doing what you can to try and backtrack the source of the signal. And Star Knight, you head out to parts of the west end of the city and the Greenbank neighborhood along the South River and the like, places where you think that there's going to be the most potential exposure as far as that goes, to see what you can do to assist there. Johnny, you head down to Midtown and to begin searching. And as you expected, the conditions are pretty difficult. Your normal top speed would be such that you could search the whole of Freedom City in probably a matter of 30 minutes. But with the ice and the heavy snow drifts and the intense cold, it is definitely slowing you down. Star Knight, you do find that Freedom City's first responders, the police and the fire department are out on the streets and are doing their best to assist people in need, trying to get people to emergency shelters and the like. You are able to assist with some of the, as it were, some of the heavy lifting, because the primary difficulty that everyone is having is that the roads are already becoming blocked with the heavy snowfall, with essentially stranded and abandoned vehicles and the like. Your abilities help you to melt paths through some of the snow and provide some access for the emergency vehicles and the first responders. A couple of warehouses in the Greenbank area are being set up as emergency shelters and the like.
Yeah, and I was just trying to think about other ways to sort of generate heat. I mean, it's it's kind of a cliche, but and kind of dangerous. But I was thinking about like, I don't know, like trying to sort of set something on fire, right? I mean, the sort of like, oh well, you start a fire when it's really cold, stand around it, right? And if I don't know, if I thought that I could do that safely.
Well, it turns out, in fact, that the conditions are pretty good in Greenbank for you to try something. The warehouses they open up are basically just concrete floors surrounded by a metal superstructure with a couple of large pieces of steel debris. You're able to heat them up with your star sword to basically red hot and situate them on the concrete such that they radiate quite a bit of heat into the room.
Yeah, that's just what I had in mind actually, and I just tell everybody to be super careful.
Indeed,
keep the little ones away from this.
Johnny, you are making your way around the Midtown area, looking for any signs of Madame Zero and her operation. There have been a number. The streets are largely abandoned at this point, but most people have sought shelter. But it's clear that there are also quite a number of people who are looking to evacuate the city and are doing their very best to flee. However, the bridges out of the downtown area are crowded and gridlocked and rapidly freezing over. So the streets are all but empty. As you are searching, you hear a noise that catches your attention, and the otherwise sort of white quiet over the roar of the wind and the falling snow, as a snowcat the vehicle, not a creature, but a large enclosed tracked vehicle that has sort of a wedge-shaped nose to it with a transparent windscreen and a long sort of sleek body mounted on double sets of tracked treads, kind of like a miniature tank, comes roaring down a street. There are a couple of parka-clad figures who are wearing full face masks and goggles and heavy winter gear, who are basically crouched on the roof of the vehicle. They both have long rifles in their hands. There's at least two more who are behind the controls of the snowcat. And just ahead of them, a figure is running down the street. He's a fairly nondescript looking guy, dark-haired and dressed very unseasonably at the moment, in just sort of a button-down shirt and a pair of jeans, and is stumbling through the snow. It'll be just seconds before they catch up to him.
So it looks like they're chasing this person?
It looks like.
Okay, I will get on my comm quickly and radio tell them that I've my companions that I look like I found something, and I will zoom over in front of the vehicle and turn on my tornado, whatever. What is it called? I already forgot. The arm spinning tornado,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And push them away.
What is your effect rank for that?
Let's see.
Rank 8.
Okay. You skid to a stop between the snowcat and the fleeing man, and kick up a whirlwind that gathers up a mass of snow and ice particles and the like, that slams into the front of the snowcat like a miniature white tornado. The front of the sort of nose area of the vehicle is almost immediately covered in a snowdrift from all of the blowing ice and snow, and it sort of grinds to a halt as it is unable to climb over the snow barrier. The men on the back of it lower their rifles and shoot at you.
Fun.
And the guns chatter, but you are able to dodge easily out of the way as gunfire stitches small lines of small explosions in the snow along the street. What do you do?
Are we in initiative, or is it?
Yeah, it's just you and them. So, and you obviously went first because there was no way that they were possibly going to beat you.
How many of them are there?
You can see from here, there are two standing on the back of the snowcat. There are two more inside the cab, in basically the driver and sort of the co-pilot seat. It's hard to see further into the vehicle to get a sense if there might be more back there, but at least four.
Okay. So let's use my for the two that are outside of the vehicle. I will use the flurry of blows.
Okay.
So that use multi-attack.
Yes, please.
So I don't. That's a -2, right?
Well, no, that'll be the effect will be based on how high your roll is.
Would you mean multiple targets method for multi
Yeah,
attack?
like I'm attacking both of them.
Sure. Yep. I'll take it into account.
Okay.
Okay. You zip up onto the back of the snowcat and rain down punches on the two gunmen there. They both go flying off the top of the vehicle and tumble into the snow in the street to either side of it. One of them begins slowly trying to get to his feet. The other one is just sprawled out in arms akimbo in the snow. All right. I'm going to give Claude a hero point for Hail of Fists. So that was just too good. And I need to give Star Knight a hero point for all of your rescuing. All right. The crew within the snowcat gun the engine and begin to back up because they can't go forward. And the vehicle lurches under you, Johnny, as it begins pulling back along its treads. The hatch on the side opens up, and another Arctic suited gunman pops up along the side of it to take a couple of shots at you. But again, you manage to dodge out of the way, and he comes nowhere close to hitting you. However, you do nearly slip on the icy surface of the outside of the snowcat. Your usual maneuvers in combat are proving a little more challenging than they usually do in these icy conditions. What are you going to do?
So he's got the hatch open, right?
Yep.
So am I able to do the same, the flurry of blows with the guy that's popping out and the one that's inside? Am I able to do?
No, you'd have to be able to get inside the vehicle first in order to reach them both, but you can try to.
Okay.
That'll take a little maneuvering.
That's fine. I just hit the button though, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
A little bit better.
Okay. You basically zip up to the guy who just took a couple of shots at you, and there's a blur of fists. He also basically goes flying and lands in the snow alongside the road. The hatch of the snowcat is still open. So Star Knight and Dr. Metropolis, you've both been able to respond to Johnny's signal at this point. And can you arrive on the scene? What do either of you want to do?
So how many perps are still standing?
Well, at the moment, you see Johnny standing on the back of the snowcat. The side door is open. There are two guys sprawled out in the snow. A third one is getting back up and raising his gun in Johnny's direction. And you can't see inside the vehicle enough to say how many are still in there.
Okay. Actually, I don't know if it's appropriate, but I might just interpose and get that one with the gun. Maybe Johnny.
Absolutely. All right. And Dr. Metropolis.
I will teleport there, rising up out of the mass of snow, and I will reach out with my arms like this and use my power to rip the roof off of the snowcat in both directions, basically peeling it out and just exposing everything inside of it.
Okay. So, Johnny, you see Dr. Metropolis rise up out of the snow, sort of cascading off of the shoulders and hood of his cloak as he appears up out of the street. He gestures and like a can of sardines, the roof of the snowcat peels and rolls up in a sort of tight little curl at either end, moving towards you in the middle, essentially. And you can see that there is the two in the cab of the vehicle, and one other guy in the back from your vantage point. You glance up just in time to see Star Knight drop out of the sky as the rifle of the other gunman in the street chatters. Star Knight's shield materializes in a glowing golden wedge of light, and the bullets spark golden flashes of light as they strike the star shield and are just vaporized on impact. And it's Johnny's action again.
I will pop inside the vehicle. And how many are inside there?
3.
Let's do the fast attack then.
All right.
On all 3. Which is a burst area.
Indeed it is. All right. So they need some dodge check action. Yeah. All right. So you knock out the driver and the guy sitting in the sort of co-pilot seat, and you hit the other mercenary in the back, and he stumbles against the back wall of the snowcat, but isn't knocked out. He's definitely knocked for a loop, but not like the other guys. And Star Knight.
Yeah, can I use my Star Sword and sort of cut the perp's rifle in half?
Yes, you absolutely can. Give me a melee, close attack roll.
25.
Yes, indeed. You swoop in towards the gunman as he starts to sort of try and back away from you, but you move far too quickly, and with just a sweeping slash of your Star Sword as he almost reflexively tries to parry you with his rifle, you cleave the weapon in half. Part of it clatters into the snow, and a clinking shower of loose ammo falls from the now useless piece that he holds in his hand.
And I'd like to say, any way you cut it, this doesn't end well for you. Why don't you just give up now and tell us everything you know?
He pauses for a moment, looking slightly stunned at the piece of the gun in his hand, glances at you, then turns, throws it away, and runs. Dr. Metropolis.
Oh, what fun. Let's see. What is there nearby that I can use to apprehend this cretin?
Well, basically the usual sorts of features that you would expect from a street in Midtown. It's a fairly broad avenue, so there are lamp posts.
That's what I was going to suggest.
The like.
Yep. Let's go with a lamppost for this one. Animate objects to do the job.
All right. So this is our runner.
Yep.
Okay.
Wrap him up and put a nice bow on it.
He doesn't make it more than maybe 10 feet before there's a slight creaking sound, and one of the heavy aluminum lampposts bends like a long, flexible tendril and wraps around him several times and lifts him up off the ground, holding him in midair.
Now would be a good time to surrender.
He just sort of holds his hands out. Johnny, the remaining guy in the cab of the snowcat, pulls a combat knife from somewhere, and sort of takes a thrusting stab in your direction. You sidestep it like he's a warm statue, and he misses you by what would normally be an uncomfortably close margin, but that's only because there's only so much room in here for you to dodge. And it's your action.
I mean, let's just do away with this guy. Not do away with him, do away with him. But, yeah, it's just. So to speak.
Indeed.
Metaphorically. Do
All right, then. So you rain a series of punches. There's a sort of on like a kind of like a drum roll, thud, and he is down and out. It is not long thereafter when Daedalus and Bowman reach you all. And can see the collection of largely unconscious Arctic-clad gunmen sprawled out in the snow. The man that the snowcat was pursuing stumbles towards you, Dr. Metropolis, as the others approach. He's clutching his arms close to his body because he's only wearing a simple button-down shirt and a pair of jeans. The lower legs of his pants are soaking wet, and his shoes are sodden and caked with snow. Indeed, so is his dark hair. And his shortly trimmed beard. Snowflakes are settling all over him as he shudders in the cold air. Thank you. I need your help. I think. I think I know what is happening.
Good. Johnny, could you please warm him up quickly?
Oh my. How am I going to do that? My vibrating hands, is that a thing with Johnny?
You could borrow some of the parkas, perhaps from the fellow on the lamppost.
I might have something. I'll produce a special arrow called the Flaro. And it's just one with a little, glowing heat thing. I will power stunt a flaming arrow that'll stay lit, and he can just kind of hold on to that. But we can give him a jacket too. But
Yeah.
Better arrow.
With the heat from the flare arrow and one of the winter parkas over his shoulders, the man's shivers calm slightly enough that he can speak more easily. He says, "My name is Milo Barinov. I think that my father is wrapped up in this whole mess. We've barely spoken in decades, but last week he emailed me and said that he was coming to Freedom City, that he had a lead on a cure for my daughter Molly. I flew in to have it out with him, and then this. Well, this sort of thing is kind of his signature. He calls himself the Arctic Fox."
I thought we were dealing with Madame Zero.
A team up.
Why not?
I mean, I guess if we're allowed to, they can.
Do we recognize his name?
Some of you have heard of the Arctic Fox. He's an infamous mercenary who his sort of signature trick is he has some sort of device that can generate miniature blizzards, and he apparently is very well trained in Arctic conditions. In fact, Milo says, "My father, Vasily, was Soviet Special Forces during the Cold War, but he went rogue. He brought me to the United States after my mother died, but he wasn't a good man. I made my own way, but he always stayed close. He sends money sometimes. I only discovered a few years ago that he still works as a mercenary. He specializes in creating blizzards like this, but never to this scale."
And this is the guy that they were chasing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I made an expertise history roll just to see if we know anything more about him.
Indeed, what Milo Baranov says is quite accurate from what you know. The Arctic Fox was a special operative of the Soviet Union during the Cold War. He was a brilliantly trained Arctic operative who specialized in cold weather operations. In addition to his cryonic technology, he also is a beneficiary of a super soldier experiment during that era. In spite of his relatively advanced age, the Arctic Fox is known to be extremely strong, fast, and capable, and still in incredible fighting shape for a man of his age. He's been known to have been involved in a number of mercenary operations all over the world over the past several decades, although a number of his activities have diminished in relatively recent years.
Can I ask a question of the one guy who's coiled up in the lamppost?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, hey, who are you working for? Are you working for the Arctic Fox? You're working for Madame Zero?
He almost sort of scoffs when you say Madame Zero's name. "We work for Arctic Fox."
And Has he made a new friend? Is he cozying up with Madame Zero?
Why should I tell you anything?
Well, Johnny, could you remove his parka? He might start changing his mind once he feels chilly.
You want me to undress people?
Only in the kindest way. Well, perhaps not in this case.
I don't know. All right. My intimidation's not the greatest here.
Or I could simply peel it off of him, I suppose, or cut it off.
You wouldn't.
Getting kind of kinky.
I am not mortal or human as you are. Yes, I probably would. And I start forming little scalpel-like knives off of the edges of the...
Why don't you give me an intimidation check for
yeah, sure.
Dr. Metropolis?
Mm-hmm. See what I got. Not much of anything. I guess I'm going to probably have to follow through.
No.
Yeah. Okay. He's not impressed.
Listen, guy, he probably will actually do this. We've had some talks with him about, how to treat people, but he doesn't always get it. Just please, for your own sake, just tell us what you know.
All right. Why don't you give me either deception or intimidation check for Bowman?
Deception time.
Good cop, bad cop.
That's better.
What'd you get?
14.
Oh, there we go. All right. Yes, he's working with Madame Zero, although I have no idea why. That woman is mad.
So you know the who, you don't know the why. Could you point us to a where?
They're at Astro Labs.
Nice. Yeah, he's not gonna cut you up, obviously, but thank you.
Oh, I was simply going to remove his parka. Whether I had to start cutting his own flesh is another matter entirely.
Are these labs that we are familiar with?
Astro Labs is an advanced scientific research facility, actually not all that far from here. It's their main campus is here in Midtown.
And they probably have their own generators.
They most certainly do.
You don't particularly want the force fields holding dangerous experiments to fail in the middle of a power outage.
Quite.
It's like we need to go stake it out.
Is it too cliche to suggest that we steal their uniforms and take the snowcat back to their location?
Daedalus and I should be able to rebuild it.
It's
Well, that's right. You shredded it.
But Dr. Metropolis bends, he can repair. And indeed, with a wave of his hand, he simply rolls the roof of the snowcat back into place. The metal edges meld back together, almost sort of like it running in reverse, such that in a moment, there's no sign it was ever damaged.
That is super useful.
Right.
You just
Well,
need to stash these felons somewhere, get the poor son suited up, or just bring him with us. That should be easy enough. We'll pretend we captured him.
How about a jail cell?
Jail cells sound excellent.
in terms of the dressing up as the enemy, I have mild misgivings that the two of us have to depend on armor doffing it, but
They're Parkers. You should be able to slip them on.
Yeah, just
Because they're
toss
big
it
and
on over.
Well, I'm not sure that we all have to go in, right? But
Mm-hmm.
but maybe a couple of us want to go in undercover, right? I agree. I'm not sure it makes sense.
If I'm being totally honest, I mostly want to drive the vehicle. If you have other ideas, I'm all for it.
That's fine with me. I'll wear a parka. I come across as very cold, so being one of these minions makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
yes. And within the snowcat, nobody will know the difference. So,
Dr.
I'm fine with-
Metropolis, did you just make a joke? I'm so proud, bud.
Even a stop clock can be right twice a day. And thank you.
All right.
Well, right. So,
Dr. Metropolis even need to do that? Like, can't you just like disappear into the city or something? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I could simply meld inside the building and sneak about, yes, but this sounds like fun.
okay.
plus, I'm certain they have some measures against geokinetics.
Yes. And you never know what it might do to the devices within. Much easier to just walk in the front door, isn't it?
All right.
well, I still feel, again, to that point that Daedalus made about armor, right? I'm inclined to maybe hang out outside, do some aerial reconnaissance rather than take my armor off, get in there and do it that way. So, but I think we can split it that way. I mean, some of you go in the one, some of us stay out if we want to.
Just don't want to take off your face mask. This is the way.
What can I say? I didn't have a chance to put all my makeup on.
We could also provide a distraction and/or help with the deception by basically providing close pursuit as they head into the labs, and then peeling off.
Like
That's
that.
nice. That's a nice
Yeah.
idea. Let's go with it.
All right, sounds like we have a plan then.
Okay. So is everyone but Star Knight in the snowcat, basically?
I'm going to go ahead and have Daedalus also on the outside, providing the distraction, deception, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The
And where
others
we-
were captured. Sorry.
Where are we putting Arctic Fox's son? Is he suiting up and coming in with us? Yeah, we're pretending we captured him, right?
We can. It's up to him. If he'd rather be someplace safe, I have no problem with that.
Putting
Yeah.
him in more danger.
That's his call.
That would honestly be his preference. He has no great desire to confront either his father or this woman he's working with. But if you feel it's necessary, he will follow your suggestion.
I'm a little worried about bringing a civilian.
Yeah, we can
No.
get him to
that's
safety, I'm
fine.
sure.
All right. You take care of the Fox's mercenaries and see that Milo is also deposited safely at the nearby police precinct with them. And then with Bowman at the controls, you turn the snowcat and head uptown to the north end of the Midtown area towards the Astrolabs campus. Daedalus, you and Star Knight are keeping an eye in the sky overhead as you do so. It is then, in fact, Star Knight and Daedalus, that you notice from your vantage point high overhead, It's difficult to make out much as the snow, it continues to fall heavily. But with the sensors in your respective suits, you are able to pick up something unusual. Out a couple of miles away, the Primus Bridge spans across the river, and it's a long suspension bridge with a tall set of support columns and suspension cables strung between them to support the structure of the bridge. There is both an intense disturbance in the air and a point up at the top of one of the bridge's columns that is actually even colder than the surrounding environment, quite a lot colder, you'd say.
And I'm sorry, it's located where?
It's up on top of one of the support columns.
And is this along the way that they have to traverse to get to Star Labs? Or not Star Labs, Astra Labs?
It is well beyond there.
Well beyond there, right? Just needing, it's a couple miles away, you'd say.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. It seems like worth investigating to me.
Do we want to do that after we provide the pursuit? So basically, we are distracted by that. And we can transmit on the emergency channels that that's why we're peeling off, providing the reason why we don't keep chasing them in.
Like it.
That sounds good. I think I may need to depart and deal with this. It sounds like my abilities may be needed at the bridge.
All right. So it sounds like Star Knight, Daedalus, and Dr. Metropolis will peel off to deal with the bridge while Johnny Rocket and Bowman are still trying to infiltrate.
Okay.
That sounds fine.
I'll just teleport there.
Indeed. In moments, Dr. Metropolis, you materialize at the bridge. Where do you appear?
Let's see. Probably want to appear on one of the sides of the one or other entry point to the bridge, ground level, so I can get a feel for things.
Okay. You appear on the southern side of the bridge, closest to the city itself, before it crosses the river, and you can see that the vast span of the Primus Bridge is crowded with both people and vehicles. There's a steady stream of people who are all wearing makeshift winter gear, coats, layers of things, even just blankets wrapped around them, who are making their way across the crowded sort of pedestrian areas of the bridge. And there's snow-covered traffic jamming it. The whole of it. It's pretty much a slow creeping gridlock at best, as a huge number of people are trying to flee the city. Up high atop one of the towering metal supports of the bridge overhead is a small figure, a blue-skinned man who stands in the midst of a sort of swirling corona of ice crystals and the like. From high above, he gestures slightly, and a hail of icicles fall cutting across part of the empty part of the snow near the pedestrians. A couple of people cry out in shock and surprise and sort of jump back away from the sudden shower of shards of ice as a voice calls down from high above. Continue on your way. Freedom City is no longer a place for the warm-blooded.
I know it's getting mildly meta, but do we recognize him as I'm guessing this might be Glacier, one of the ice people.
As a matter of fact, Glacier, the king of the ice people, it is. And the blue-skinned, white-haired figure who stands high atop the bridge support has a sort of imperious, lofty air to his presence. And he stands glaring almost sort of defiantly as Daedalus and Star Knight approach.
What sauce do you want, honey?
We should probably get into initiative, I guess.
By all means.
Or are we good? Okay.
No, you can roll for initiative if you like.
Select your tokens, folks. That's how you do it in
let's-
Roll20.
Oh, sorry. What am I
If I
doing?
can. Or may have to do it the hard way.
They did that right.
I have zero clue what I'm doing, but I rolled a 10.
There we go. $16.
Okay. And you can feel free to move your tokens out onto the map that I just switched to.
South side is to the right.
Correct.
Oh, a little big. Can you reduce our tokens in size?
That's an excellent question.
Thanks. Yeah, only the GM can do that. You have massive powers.
Let's see how I do that. Unfortunately, I don't. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if I can just resize these boxes. Does not seem to be doing it.
If not, I guess we can wing it.
Set dimensions. That's a little better.
Looks good. Are we looking at minions out there?
As a matter of fact, and I didn't see we have Star Knight on the map.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't know exactly what I'm doing here. Right.
Oh, if you click on your character image, like on the second tab in
Inventory.
Roll20 and click and drag it out, that should add your token.
Second
Here we go.
tab.
Aha.
I just moved you on there.
Yeah,
There,
right.
there you go.
And we'll resize. There we go.
Thank you.
All right. Star Knight and Daedalus, as you approach, Glacier glares out at you rather loftily. Freedom League, you've arrived just in time to move this human cattle out of our new domain.
So are you now deciding to try to rule another world rather than save your own people in Antarctica?
But you see, this will save my people. A whole city perfectly suited.
Well, we weren't quite done with it yet, so that's the only
That's a
problem.
pity. But then you humans have so much of the world to yourselves. What's one corner of it? Especially one corner that is about to be uninhabitable.
Yeah, well, about that, it's really not the weather forecast we were hoping for.
But as I have learned, you must deal with what you have been given. I have no quarrel with you, Freedom League, but be warned, I will not brook any interference.
Come on, you're practically begging for interference.
Are you done yet? Or can we begin?
Save these poor souls, if you will, before the weather finishes them.
I still feel that your original purpose was to save your own people, to awaken them, and yet you seem to be trying to conquer another part of the world while abandoning them.
I have not abandoned them. Everything I have done is for my people. This new environment will save them.
Yes, as they sleep in your frozen city, as I recall.
Yes. With this environment, I shall be able to revive them safely. Here in this city where you can survive.
When you were unable to awaken them before, are you certain that somebody else isn't trying to use you as a cat's paw?
No one uses the king of the ice people. My alliances are my own affair.
Daedalus just shakes his head. He tried to be reasonable.
So it is time to begin the violence then.
Let's see. Where's my initiative tracker? That's an excellent question. Where is my initiative tracker? All right. So I've got Dr. Metropolis at 16, Daedalus at 12, and I don't see Star Knight.
I never knew what I was doing, but I'm at 10.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So Dr. Metropolis, as it so happens, you are first if you are taking action.
Okay. Where exactly is he standing? Is he on the ground level or the driving level? Is he up above?
Glacier is high above at the top of one of the support towers that holds up the bridge.
Okay. I'm going to try something interesting. I'll teleport up there where he is, or
right.
near where he is.
Mm-hmm.
How wide is this pylon? Enough for both of us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to try and transform the material underneath his feet into, let's see, stained glass, the kind that's very, very fragile and cracks easily under low temperatures.
Okay.
Let me get a roll for that out.
Please do.
I'll tell you in a second. Here we go. City sculpting.
Okay.
Take a moment for that to click through, and DC of 24.
Dr. Metropolis gestures and almost like the steel surface beneath Glacier were freezing. There's sort of a crackle, and the crystalline structure of the steel begins to transform into a sort of multicolored glass that spreads out in a short distance around Glacier's feet. That crackling is followed by a louder cracking sound as a spider web of cracks spreads through the glass surface, and the king of the ice people falls through it with
pretty far,
with a
like
crash
down to the bottom.
Glacier drops a short distance and waves one hand, and a sheet of ice materializes out of the air, extending from the edge of the high pylon. The ice stretches out and forms a sort of a ramp that he drops onto, landing on his feet. He slides down the sloping ice ramp as it curves towards the surface of the bridge. You will test my mettle, Freedom League? So be it. Glacier unleashes a blast of ice and cold from one hand that strikes Dr. Metropolis atop the pylon of the bridge. I need a toughness check.
Mm-hmm. What's my DC?
22.
Okay. That's not great.
No, unfortunately, it is not.
It's bruised and dazed, which is not the worst thing in the world.
That is
I can
correct.
take it. Yeah, I'll take that for now.
Okay. And then it is Bowman's action. Oh, no, Bowman.
Daedalus, I think.
Daedalus's action. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and have him keep at a distance and attempt to use his gravitic binders to hold him in place.
Okay.
So the roll looks like a +8 for my attack. Actually, I can just click the button and it handles that, doesn't it?
It does indeed. It's the wonder of automation.
So total of 19.
Okay. That is a hit.
Okay, then I guess he's got a DC 20 dodge to face.
All right. However, Glacier dodges that fairly handily as Daedalus unleashes his gravitic beam. The Ice King leaps upward off of the ice ramp. The gravitic blast hits the ice where he stood, and it crumbles and collapses in midair. Glacier flips and projects another sloping ice ramp beneath him, kind of a column that drops down to the surface of the bridge below. Grabbing one edge of it, he swings around the column, sliding down it towards the bottom of it. And it is Star Knight's action.
Right. So he's skating down toward the
deck of the bridge. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna fly down to meet him there. At sort of where he's gonna, if I can time it, sort of where he's gonna come. To rest. And if we get to that point, then I'm gonna take a whack at him with the Star Sword.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
That is a 19.
Okay, that unfortunately is a narrow miss. And Glacier dodges to one side. Your star sword slashes through the ice column, collapsing it. The top of it topples over and smashes into the side of the bridge, shattering and sending chunks of ice scattering. Dr. Metropolis is your action.
Okay. I think I'm going to just go ahead and touch him. I'll use my animate object to create a nice big fist out of whatever part of the bridge he's closest to and take a shot at him.
All righty. Give me an attack check.
18 to hit.
All right.
25 toughness.
That too is a narrow miss, unfortunately.
Ooh, it is? Wow.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and hero point it. Let's see if we can make this happen.
Okay. Give me a reroll.
I'll do a reroll. Hoping it goes better.
All right.
And that ain't unfortunate. Well, actually, wait. The 14 becomes 24.
That becomes a 24. So that is a hit.
I rolled under 10. Cool.
Yep. All right. So let's
Worth it.
check his toughness. All right. A massive fist of concrete and asphalt smashes into Glacier as he attempts to dodge out of the way, basically sort of slapping him down against the surface of the bridge. The king of the ice people rolls to his feet in sort of a low crouch. He turns and unleashes a shower of ice shards, firing them at the nearby Star Knight. I'm going to need a toughness check from you, Star Knight.
Yes, sir. That is a 26.
Just enough. And the shower of ice shards patter against your armor and shield, but don't do any significant damage. And it is Daedalus's turn, I believe.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and zoom down and try to grab him.
Okay.
For what it's worth, my intent is try to move him next turn, get him underwater, because I think that might decrease his mobility a bit with these ice things.
All right, indeed. Give me a close attack, melee, an armed combat check.
All right, I'm going to use 2 points of all-out attack. I don't have the advantage, but I can use up to 2.
Indeed, you can.
Which I know there's a way to do this on the sheet. Yeah, let me go ahead and 2 and see if that works for this. And clicking on grab.
Well, very nicely done. All right.
I guess I critted on that one.
You certainly did.
You can add something like +5 to the DC, which would be good.
Yes.
It's be a DC 25 then against his dodge or parry. I can never remember the second one.
Strength or dodge, I think.
Yeah. Daedalus, you swoop down and grab Glacier, flying the two of you over the edge of the bridge, and then basically plunging downward towards the icy surface of the river below. The river is already almost completely frozen over. A layer of ice covers much of its surface, but at the speed the two of you are moving, you hit the ice and burst through it into the icy waters below. and plunge with a sort of trailing a cloud of bubbles into the dark, murky water beneath the ice. The layer of ice allows only a faint amount of light to filter in to the waters of the river below. But even in that, you can see that the river water is indeed beginning to basically solidify around Glacier. The temperature of his body is low enough that the water is beginning to freeze all around him. So far as that goes. The only difficulty, of course, is that it's also forming ice all over you as well. Glacier struggles, but is not able to break free of your grip. What are you going to do?
As for me, I'm going to try to keep holding him down there and trust in my life support to keep me from, well, to keep me oxygenated and all of that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Give me another strength check, if you will, please.
Okay. So I think their strength is there.
All right.
Total of 20.
Your armor's systems warn of the massive ice formation on the outer surfaces and the like, and you feel as though you can almost feel the penetrating cold that comes from Glacier's body. However, your armor's servo systems are holding in place, and Glacier's struggles are growing weaker. The thick layer of ice rapidly expands until the two of you begin floating back to the surface. Dr. Metropolis, you and Star Knight, from your vantage, can see as basically a large block of ice begins to bob up out of the big hole in the ice that was smashed through it. Daedalus and Glacier are frozen inside of it.
Well, that was very effective, more perhaps than Daedalus thought it would be.
Star Knight, you glance up as you hear a couple of shouts of alarm. You see a couple of, well, more than a couple, half a dozen of the sort of parka-clad mercenaries who work for Arctic Fox. They have some kind of unusual-looking rifles, not the kinds that the mercenaries that you fought in Midtown were using. And the people are backing away from them and running away from them as quickly as possible as they're sort of spraying the rifles along the surface of the bridge. It looks like thick layers of ice are forming wherever they spray, and you and Dr. Metropolis hear the superstructure of the bridge groan as a couple of the support cables start to fray.
Mm-hmm.
Star Knight, it is your action.
Thank you. How close are the two? Are there two of these?
So there's a number of the mercenaries. And they are all over
Oh, I see.
here. And they have basically laid down along this area of the bridge in between you. almost like 2-meter high huge area of ice that's creeping over the fronts of cars and excuse me, across vehicles and the like.
Star Knight, if you can take care of the ice, I should be able to handle the gunman.
I can turn on the defrost.
That would work.
And so, yeah, I'm going to direct, using my Star Blast from the sword. I'm going to start firing it at the ice to try to melt it.
Okay. In this case, can you give me a check with your sword's power rank, its damage rank, rather than an attack roll?
Yes. It's 18.
Okay. You unleash the energy of your star sword to begin trying to melt the ice as quickly as you can. There's another heavy groan from the bridge as hot steam gushes up from the melting ice, and a couple more strands of one of the support cables give way. You feel the bridge shake. Dr. Metropolis, it is your action.
Okay. I know it's shaking, but does the bridge seem more stable at this point?
Well, the mercenaries are basically retreating down the bridge away, firing the ice guns along the surface of the bridge as they do so. It is leaving a heavy layer of ice in their wake, and it's building up at the moment faster than Star Knight is evaporating it.
How many of these ice guns do they have?
There are 4 of them, and they each have one.
Okay, that's going to be a bit more of a problem. I was hoping there was just one. All right, then. Going to have to take these guys out quickly. I'll hope that they're the minions I think they are. Let's see what I can do. Okay. I think I'm going to have to do a power stunt to try to do a area effect, make it a shapeable area effect so I can have parts of the bridge pound on each of them and see how many of them I can get. The power rank is rank 10. So okay. I'm guessing that would be a 20 dodge for them, followed by a 25 or less toughness.
All right, then.
Got to take them out fast.
Let's see. And what is the effect of your power stunt? What are you doing?
I'm just expanding it for the area effect.
So
otherwise, it's going to do
your animated
what I
object?
just posted.
Okay.
Yeah, basically just hit them hard.
Okay.
So dodge check for half first, of course.
Of course. Bringing the materials of the bridge to life, you essentially sort of enclose the mercenaries, who are fortunately grouped fairly close together, in sort of a almost sort of like an enclosing flower of layers of the surface of the bridge peeling up and closing around them. And although they sort of reflexively fire their ice guns at the materials, it does them little good in that regard, as it just adds an additional mass of material that closes in around them. The concrete and asphalt structure closes around the mercenaries with a thud. And then when it peels away like a strange flower opening, they, no longer supported by it, simply drop to the surface of the bridge, unconscious. Daedalus, are you doing anything at the moment?
I'm going to attempt to break free of the ice in a way that doesn't also free Glacier at the same time.
Okay.
So I think I'm actually going to power stunt my environmental systems to vent heat. So basically taking my immunity 10 and just turning it into damage 9 with precise.
Yep. Indeed, venting the waste heat from your armor behind you essentially produces a hole in the ice for you to simply pull back out of, and the lapping water quickly flows in and freezes when you do, sort of leaving Glacier floating in a chunk of ice.
Okay, and then I guess as my move action, I'm just going to get back up into the air to get a vantage point.
All right. Dr. Metropolis has felled the Arctic mercenaries, but there's still a substantial mass of ice on the surface of the bridge. Several of its support cables are fraying. And the bridge's structure is groaning under the tons of ice on it, in addition to the already overloaded structure.
All right, I'm going to use my Jack of all trades for expertise architecture, just to try to guide Dr. Metropolis as to what exactly needs to be patched first, because I think that with I think he should be able to use his transform method to basically fix the cables. But if we don't fix them in the right order, we run the risk of snapping cables, and those never end well.
Indeed. All right.
So I got a total of 16 on my intellect check.
Okay. Well, you have created 1 or 2 bridges in your day, and with your assistance, Dr. Metropolis can maintain the bridge's structure long enough, you think, for Star Knight to manage to evaporate the remaining ice, and that should neutralize the threat. That seems like a good opportunity for us to take a short break, say 5 or 10 minutes for folks, and I will try and be back here in 5. And if our viewers or our attendees would like to have any questions at that point, we can potentially address questions. Otherwise, we will jump back into the second half of our game. So
cool.
See you all in about 10 minutes.
Excellent.
anytime. In fact, I believe it's a Zoom rule that says that pets should be on display on any given Zoom call if they're within a camera range.
Pets love Zoom. They love Zoom more than humans.
Yes. I'm looking forward to our VTT team's developments as things go on, because although I have played a number of games on Roll20 over the past year, I have to say this is the first time running Mutants and Masterminds on Roll20, so it's been an interesting experience.
It's funny, out of most of the games I've done on Roll20, this is actually the first Mutants and Masterminds one I've done on it. Usually starts out with a lot of, okay, let's move everybody on the tactical map, and then suddenly you realize you're halfway through the battle and nothing's moved because you've gotten back to the theater of the mind again.
Yeah. Mutants and Masterminds isn't as given to tactical maps as some games, generally speaking, and that's also tactical maps are not usually my game mastering style as far as that goes. But fortunately, Alex very kindly provided a lot of the map setups for tonight's adventure. So
I was actually curious. Are some of the maps that are going to come with the adventure?
These we haven't even commissioned maps for the adventure yet. So Alex found suitable maps elsewhere, but fortunately they're generic enough that it suited our purpose as well. All right. Did anybody have any questions? All right.
Disembodied voice of Troy. Anything from the peanut gallery?
I'm not seeing much in the chat, apart from the fact that people seem to be enjoying themselves. So I think we are good to go. So, all right. So, Bowman, you and Johnny are in the Snowcat, in the guiding it through the snow-covered streets of Freedom City. It's a little tricky in some cases because there are spots where the streets are a bit narrower with stopped or abandoned vehicles and the like, and there's a little bit of work to maneuver things around, but you're able to manage to make your way to the campus of Astro Labs in the northern part of Midtown. It's a collection of relatively lowish buildings, and there's a pretty sizable sort of landscaped area around the area itself that is, although clearly designed to be sort of a nice looking pedestrian area, is also conveniently providing a certain amount of distance around the buildings in question. You can tell that the Astro Labs main building has an underground parking garage from the looks of it, and there's basically a 5-story main building with a broad, flat roof area. So what are you doing?
I guess we'll drive in where it looks like other of the snowcats have passed or are parked, and we'll just try to see where everyone looks like they're convening.
All right. You see another of the vehicles behind the building near the parking garage entrance. There are a couple of the mercenaries sitting inside the cab of the vehicle, obviously for shelter, if nothing else. And they seem to be keeping a watch on the immediate area from the look of it. They watch carefully as you approach, but don't take any immediate action.
Nice. By the way things are moving and like where people are, can I kind of figure out like where they're coming from, or like maybe where they stage the vehicles?
Looks like, given the size and structure of these vehicles, that they are keeping them right here.
Gotcha.
As far as that goes.
All right. Well, if it looks like people are like milling about, like the ones in the suits moving in and out of the facility, then I guess we should try to move into the facility too.
Okay. So are you going to try and bluff your way past them?
Yeah. Oh,
Sounds like that's the plan.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. Why don't you give me a deception check, Bowman?
Sorry, I lost my character sheet for just a second. Ooh.
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and use that hero point I got from my terrible pun. And,
all right. Much better.
That'll work.
All right. Bundled up in the parkas and uniforms, and of course the masks and goggles and the like of the mercenaries. Their uniforms make it pretty easy to blend in, as you can't distinguish much of anyone's features wearing them.
We all look like B. Arthur.
You disembark the snowcat, make your way down into the parking garage area. There's another mercenary down there who is standing guard near the elevators and the entrance to the stairs.
I'll just walk up as if I'm supposed to be doing that, and I'll just start trying to walk past him to go to the elevator. Don't look at him too much. Just Yep, this is my job. I'm doing the thing.
You head on over, and the guard by the door speaks up, his voice slightly muffled by the face mask and the like. Where's the target?
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, the target got away. We're here to report back and let them know.
Gave you the slip?
Well, it is slippery out.
And we saw some superheroes flying around where we were going, so little bit of cover from them.
They were running around too.
Well, better you than me. Good luck.
Yep, appreciate it. We'll hop on the elevator, I guess.
Okay. The elevator has the usual selection of options for this lower level, as well as the 5 levels above ground.
Oh, what do you think, Johnny? Up or down?
There's more underground. Are we on the lowest level?
You are on the lower.
Oh, okay,
level.
never mind. I was thinking there was.
Oh, let's hit them all.
Why did I know that would be your choice? Yeah, we'll go to the next floor up.
Okay. The elevator opens into an area just off of what looks like the lobby of the building above. There's a reception desk and the Astrolabs logo on the wall. Behind it, the lobby has a couple of small sitting areas, potted plants, that sort of thing. The main doors outside are closed against the wind-driven snow that is whipping against the broad glass panes, and there are another couple of the mercenaries in the lobby area keeping watch.
Just a couple?
Just two.
I don't think this is our floor, but I mean, if there's no one else around, what if we just drop these two?
Sure, let's go for it.
All right.
Sounds good.
You surprise these guys, so you can each take an action before we even have to roll for initiative.
I will. Yeah, let's do our my hail. I guess are we still hailing or flurrying? I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I will run up and attack both of them.
Okay.
And I will follow up with a shot at each as well.
Okay.
Once he's out of the way of the multi-attack. Yeah.
I'll continue to move out of the way since I have move by attack.
All right. Check that. That's unfortunate. All right. Johnny quickly softens up the mercenaries, and Bowman's follow-up shots drop them. They are both unconscious before they even know what hit them.
Nice.
Okay.
Ooh, check them for key cards. I don't know if we got any of those off of anyone before.
Not yet.
Oh yeah, we can check for those.
In fact, one of the mercenaries that you just knocked out does have an Astrolabs key card on him.
And I tell Bowman to wait here, and can I zip around this floor and take a look and see what's on this floor?
You do a quick super speed recon. Most of this floor is just office space for the most part. There are a couple of storage areas, and there is one section of it that is clearly set aside for lab work on this floor. The lab area, which is definitely the largest sort of modular room on the floor, is definitely also the only place of interest because it's guarded by another one of the mercenaries.
I'll come back to Bowman and let him know. There's a lab on this floor. There's one more mercenary. Do you want to check it out?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's radio Daedalus though to let him know what's going on so far in case we go silent suddenly.
All right. Daedalus, you have in fact are in the process of taking care of the bridge when Bowman signals on your comm link.
All right, let's go get that last guard.
And I will, of course, relay to Dr. Metropolis and Star Knight that they're in the midst of infiltrating.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Bowman, you want to give me a stealth check as you approach the guard?
And I'll tell, ooh, I opened the wrong window. Okay. I'll tell Johnny, like, if we get spotted, like, just run and knock him out real quick.
Okay.
Not that we'll need to worry.
Nope. Bowman, you approach. You're able to find a corner near the lab, so that you're about maybe 20 feet from the guard. The rest of it is pretty open space. So this is as close as you're going to be able to get without being seen.
So is there anyone on the other side, like in the room, that can see us if I approach the guard too, or it's just the guard?
Well, the door that the guard is watching does have a tall, narrow window in it. It's only about maybe 8 inches wide and probably about a foot tall, just sort of like a porthole kind of a thing you could glance out of. But it's not much beyond that. You probably could sneak around it.
Okay. Let's see if I can like call him away from the door. Trying to think of what I could act like as a problem that I need help dealing with. I'll start like with the coat, start messing with it like there's a problem or something, and I'll be like, hey, can you come over for a second and help me out?
The guard sort of makes a somewhat incredulous sound. And it's like, what is your problem? He starts moving towards you slowly, kind of a bit cautiously, because he's not sure what's going on.
Gotcha. I'll kind of like duck, like doubled over, almost like I'm messing with something to see if he gets closer. And once he gets pretty close, I'm gonna like charge at him and like try to get my bow against his neck and just like knock him out of the view of the window. If I can choke him down to the ground.
All right. Give me a melee attack roll.
Okay. I think I've got a button for grab.
Okay.
Not very strong, but
strong enough though. You do manage to grab the guy and sort of wrestle him to the ground, pinning him there with your bow. You hold the mercenary down long enough to apply a sort of a sleeper hold to him until his struggles stop and he slumps unconscious.
Learned that one from Raven. And I'll wave Johnny over to the door that's now unguarded.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's check out the lab, see what's in there.
All right. The door is locked, but your key card opens it. The space inside is set up with a number of movable tables on a broad counter that runs around much of the outside of the room. There are a number of storage cabinets and moving sort of carts with laptops and computer equipment, portable scanners, and the like. There is also about 20 or so people in the room, all wearing mostly sort of business attire. A few of them have lab coats or the like. They immediately sort of start slightly as the door opens and back away a bit.
Okay, so these look like Astro employees that were.
Yep, they definitely look like hostages.
Okay, cool. Well, I will pull off my gear thing, revealing yet another mask. Since I still had the Bowman stuff. Hey, Freedom League, what's going on?
Don't worry, we're here to help you.
Bowman, thank heaven.
Do you know what's going on here?
This group of armed men broke in to the lab. They took control of things, moved all the personnel in here.
Do they have you doing anything in here?
Not in this lab, no, but they've clearly been moving some kind of equipment. I don't know exactly what it is.
Do you know what floor they're on?
Not this one.
Well, you might have to wait in here for a bit until we clear things out. This might be the safest place.
I assume that whatever they've been doing has something to do with what's going on outside.
That's what we're thinking.
Fair assumption.
Yeah.
So when we head out of here, we're gonna head on and keep moving. Get some of these tables in front of the doors just in case they come in, and we'll let you know when we're coming to let you out.
Will do.
Okay.
Right. Next floor.
Keep going up.
All right. The next 3 floors of the Astrolabs building are fairly unremarkable, mostly, again, laboratory and office space for the most part, but have been pretty much cleared out of people. It looks like that there's one of the mercenaries standing guard near the elevator and stairwell entrance on each of those floors, but it's just one. And they're easy enough for you to either evade or take out as you choose.
Do we want to just go up the elevator, or do we want to find a alternative way up? Do we want to call the others in?
We can see how close they are. Yeah, if they're not close enough, then one of us could do the stairwell, the other one could take an elevator, just so we're hitting it from 2 sides at once.
Because there's just one floor left, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I just want the bad guys to put their thing on like the second to highest floor once, just one time.
Yeah, let's check in with the others, see where they're at.
It sounds like your teammates are largely finishing up with things out on the Primus Bridge.
It won't take them long to get here. We can, I don't know. We might want to storm it all together. What's your thoughts, Johnny?
Yeah, do we want to let them know that we're targeting the 5th floor and that we might want to go in full force?
Yeah, we can pause for a moment to give them a shot if they're getting close to being done.
Yeah.
I'll ask their situation. Yeah.
Things at the bridge are pretty much handled at this point.
Well, come join the party.
The water is frozen. But we can fix it.
Next question is, are we coming in soft or coming in hard?
Definitely hard.
Yeah, I think we choose violence today.
Where should we come in?
We're hitting the top floor. So I say this place is definitely insured. Just crash through a window.
Yeah.
Very well.
I think that's probably a good tactic. You guys crash in through the windows, and we can either come up that elevator, and do you want to divide and?
Yeah.
Right.
Does Dr. Metropolis have a way of like scanning? I know that the higher PL version has like remote viewing.
Mm-hmm.
Since I know exactly where I need to scan, it shouldn't be too difficult. They are, after all, in a building.
Indeed. Yes, Dr. Metropolis, now that he has a clear location to look in, can definitely do that. Where are you looking?
Let's see. I'll start with the top floor and scan around, see what's there, and who may be there, and possibly where a huge device is.
All right. Extending your senses, it's as though you were peering in the windows of the building, standing just on the other side of them, into the interior of the uppermost floor. The upper floor, similar to the layout of some of the others, has a large lab experimental area and a smaller collection of offices and the like. The lab area has an open sort of skylight of some sort that has been open to the sky outside. Indeed, much of the lab is rimed in ice and snow, creating a strange sort of contrast to the high-tech equipment and the like within, as the edges and corners of things are sort of softened in a blanket of white, and icicles hang from the edges of cabinets and overhangs and the like. There is a device that's probably about the size of a car in one side of the lab that is emitting a cold blue light and has a faint sort of sparkling aura around the edges of it, like light refracting through ice. Within the lab is Madame Zero. She wears her close-fitting blue life support suit for the most part, although she has removed the face mask that she normally wears as a part of it. Her skin is a pale, icy blue, and her hair is bleached white and glimmers with ice crystals. She looks with a certain sort of smirk of satisfaction out the windows of the upper floor at the swirling, deepening snow and ice outside as it continues to blanket Freedom City. There is no one else in the lab room that you see.
No sign of Arctic fox. Interesting. I'll give the others a basic outline of the important stuff, which is the lab, with directionals north, south, east, west, so they can know where to go in, and plan to teleport myself up to the roof above a good location where I can just permeate and sink down into the building and put myself in a good position to prepare to strike.
All right.
I'd like to fly right through that skylight. I mean, there's nothing. There's no like energy being emitted out of the skylight, or is there?
Nope, not visibly.
Right. Yeah. Then I'm just going straight through the skylight if I can.
All right. And Daedalus?
I'll probably just follow along right behind him.
Okay.
I'll take the elevator.
And I can go up the stairs.
All right.
I step out of a wall.
Sounds to me like a good time for me to find my initiative tracker.
I minimize and lose my initiative tracker on here every game at least once.
Yes. And still haven't found it. All right, why don't you all go ahead and roll for initiative.
I still have no idea how to do that, but my roll was a 4, so I'm pretty sure I'm going last. Just taking my time.
Oh no, my first nat 1.
All right. Oh, Johnny.
Had to one up me by 30. I see how it is.
Okay. Unsurprising to anyone, Johnny, your action is first.
All right. Did you say there was guards at the door, or?
There are, and Dr. Metropolis informs you that there are 4 of Arctic Fox's mercenaries on this floor. They are in the corridor between the elevator and stairwell and the lab, but they are outside of the lab.
Is that in the path that I need to take to?
Yes.
Okay, and are they within like a clump? Are they clumped together, or?
They are spread out along the corridor, but it's a hallway, so it's not overly wide so far as that goes.
So if I do the fast attack, which is a burst area, that's, they have to be within 30 feet of each other, right?
Yep, that's enough to get all of them in the burst if you want.
Okay, so let's go for that and see what happens.
All right.
Oh, what happened there? It's awful.
There's no attack roll for burst area.
I was going to say, there
effect.
shouldn't be.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, so let's give them their dodge check.
It's the flurry of blows that I.
And their toughness check. All right. So Johnny basically blows past these guys and leaves them scattered in the corridor. a couple of the mercenaries just slam against the wall from the speed of his moving past them, and slide down in a slump.
And if I'm able to, I'll just keep moving into, if it's taken them all out, I'll just keep moving into the lab, into where she's at.
Give me a dodge check, if you would, please. All right. You greatly appreciate your super fast reflexes as you knock out all of the mercenaries and fling open the lab door to dash through it. You perceive a barely visible sort of membrane across the doorway that if you had simply charged through, you would have slammed right into at a considerable amount of speed.
All right.
But you are able to notice it just in time to stop.
Okay, so I've stopped short of the membrane.
You have.
Okay.
All right. You still, that's pretty much your move and your action. Okay. So, Madam Zero in the lab turns towards the open door. Haven't you heard of knocking?
Well, you didn't exactly knock when you started the blizzard.
True. Still, I'm afraid that I'm not seeing anyone at this time. She gestures and a thick layer of ice spreads across the area in front of the door. Suddenly, a thick wall of ice covers the entire doorway. And Dr. Metropolis.
Okay. I emerged from the wall and seeing the device before me, I try to transform it into a cotton candy machine, a really, really big cotton candy machine.
All right.
Let's give that a roll.
Well done.
I think I hit. Yeah, I'll add 5 to the DC of that if there is one needed.
The gelid engine sort of crumples under the force of Dr. Metropolis's will, and bends and shapes, sort of folding it in on itself, and long pink strands of spun sugar are just sort of blowing out of a vent on one side of it, accumulating along part of the wall. Madam Zero turns on Dr. Metropolis in a what can only be described as a cold fury. And there's a crackle of ice in the air around her. I'll take the hours that it will take me to fix that out of your concrete hide.
That would be inadvisable. I'm the only one who could fix it.
All right. Daedalus, you and Star Knight are up flying in above Astro Labs.
I think technically speaking, Star Knight has a higher initiative than I do. Question is, do we still need to burst through at this point?
I'm sorry, did I get you to reversed in the order. Star Knight, what was your initiative?
4-4 for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, sorry. I thought that they had a higher one. Okay.
No.
Well, in which case, I'm going to actually try to not cause too much damage as I cut through the skylight.
All right.
So I don't think I have precise on it.
Mhm.
You know what? I guess probably there's not much I can do but try to smash through. So
All
do you
right.
need a ranged attack on that?
I will in just a second. But first, as you swoop in to the skylight, something hits your armor. Can you give me a toughness resistance check?
Total of 20?
Okay. You are dazed and take a hit from the micro explosive that hits your armor near your helmet. And moments, just a second after it latches on, it detonates with an ear-ringing force.
I think we found Arctic Fox.
A stealth rating.
And you can take your remaining action. You have still have a standard or a move action left.
Oh, okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and do a total defense.
Okay.
So I think that's a roll with my
It is
dodge.
indeed.
Or one of my active defenses. I think it applies to either one of them. So that's
All right.
superior to my usual one. So
all right, you take evasive action. And Bowman, your action.
All right. I exit the elevator. What do I see from there?
Basically, you see 4 of Arctic Fox's mercenaries laid out in the corridor. Johnny is the end of the hall in front of the open door to the lab, but the entire doorway is filled with a thick wall of ice.
Johnny, in a second, step back, and I will shoot an explosive arrow at it. I'll basically hold and fire it before his turn, so I'll crack the ice so he can run through.
Okay. Then Star Knight.
Yeah, so it sounds like, because given the initiative order, that Daedalus basically, flew to the skylight before I did, right? Reached the skylight before
Correct.
And then this attack was launched on him. So I'm wondering, did it come from the roof? Or do I see something? Since I've not actually entered the room yet, now I have a view of the roof. Is there something?
Give me a perception check, if you would, please.
Oh God, no! I rolled like a 5.
You didn't see where it came from. It was pretty sudden, but you are looking around now. You don't see anyone. There is there are a number of sort of ducts and protrusions on the roof for housing equipment and the like. And of course, everything is covered in snow. And the visibility is not great.
Right. Well, I'm gonna stay up here to help Daedalus. So really, I'm with the rest of my turn. Then I'm just gonna sort of do a reconnaissance, fly around the roof, and see if I can spot somebody.
Okay. Give me another perception check.
There I rolled a 20, so that's a modified 20.
You still don't see anyone.
Okay.
All right. That brings us back to Johnny. Bowman looses his arrow. Johnny, you step back a short distance, which for you is easily the corridor, and brace yourself for a run. Bowman's arrow, of course, is on target. And the explosive blows the ice into the room beyond, leaving with a shower of ice shards, leaving a pretty large hole, almost the size of the door itself, in the ice wall.
And what about the membrane?
Can't tell from here, but it doesn't. You don't see it.
All right, well, let's try again for the room then. Head in, and I'll just trust my speed to get me through the door.
All right. Well, whatever else covered the door doesn't seem to be there anymore.
All right.
So you dash into the room as Madame Zero is facing off against Dr. Metropolis.
Okay, and he's already taken care of the machine.
You're pretty sure it's not supposed to be spitting cotton candy, so you think so.
All right, so I will attempt to assist him then. I will go after her with a flurry of blows.
All right.
Using the multi-attack just on her as a single opponent.
Oh, it's a good hit. You rush in, and Madame Zero staggers back from your flurry of blows, throwing up her arms to shield herself a bit. She's a good deal tougher. She's a good deal tougher than she looks, but it definitely felt that. And Madame Zero's action. She unleashes a ice blast at Johnny. What is your dodge defense?
15? Oh no,
25.
Yeah.
Yep. She hits you. Give me a toughness resistance check.
Where is that? Where is that? Right there.
That's good.
Good job. You are merely dazed by the force of her powerful blast. So you take one hit, and you are at half your action allocation.
So on the sheet, it's just injury 1?
Yep, exactly. Dr. Metropolis.
Okay. Since I know we have an unknown party here that hasn't revealed himself, I'd like to try and use my City Sense remote sensing to try and figure out where in the building he is.
Okay, give me a perception roll.
Okay. Uh, 17 enough?
He is not in the building.
He's not in the building.
He is not. He is on the roof of the building.
Oh, he's on the roof?
Yep. However, you're not able to pinpoint exactly where.
Okay. All right, I'll whisper that into the radio communicator. Fox on the roof. And since I am not currently on the roof, I will go ahead and form some steel fists to pummel Madame Zero with.
All right.
I would never hit a lady, but she's no lady.
Ooh, nice hit.
Yeah. I will add 5 to the DC for the resistance,
Indeed.
making it DC 30.
Your massive steel fists stagger Madame Zero, and she goes flying back against the far wall of the lab, cracking it with the force of her impact. She, with one hand, pushes herself away from the wall with a grimace and gritted teeth. Daedalus, is your action.
Keep forgetting to unmute myself. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use a hero point to buy off the fatigued that I have from before from the bridge fight.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use extra effort again to power stunt off of my gravitic blasters. I'm going to go for a move object effect, and if it's okay, I'm going to use the optional rule from the strength power profile to just try to push them rather than grab them. And going to try for like an area effect to knock him off the roof.
Okay.
So basically trying to adjust gravity so that gravity is pushing away.
Okay. What is the rank effect?
I believe that with the 20 points to work with, that's going to put me at rank 6.
Okay.
Because I have to get range, then the move object, then the burst area.
I'm going to call that basically an opposed rank check versus his strength to see that if you can fling him off the roof or if he can hold on. So why don't you give me a roll with that +6 rank?
Sure. Oof. I'm going to use my remaining hero point.
Okay.
That gets 10 added to it for a total of 20.
Yes, indeed. 10 is perfect roll for that. And as it so happens, that second roll is just enough to overcome Arctic Fox's enhanced strength. Daedalus adjusts the gravitic projectors of his armor's gauntlets, essentially creating a wave of anti-gravity that for the momentarily makes everything on a plane along the roof fall essentially sideways. And as though you had literally turned the world sideways, Arctic Fox tumbles from the concealment along some of the equipment on the roof. He drops to the side, off the side of the building, but manages to tumble in midair once he's outside of the plane of the gravitic shear. He fires some kind of a grappling gun, and it catches on the ledge above, so that Arctic Fox swings to the ground below, alongside the building. Bowman, it is your action.
All right, I will follow in the room after Johnny, now that he's run in, and I'm going to actually use the multi attack to give him cover.
Okay.
I'll do the cover one. So if she attacks him, then I get a hit on her.
Yep, indeed. All right. Madam Zero drawing herself back up. Fires another blast of cold, this time at Dr. Metropolis. Doc, what's your total defense? Dodge?
Let me see. Dodge is 20 total.
All right. She narrowly misses you as you dodge to one side. And it is your action.
Okay. It worked the first time. Let's try it again. Once more with feeling. Oops, sorry, something getting in the way. There we go. And I think that's where my last hero point is going to go.
Okay.
Use it or lose it. I think I hit.
You did
28.
indeed.
For those that are watching at home, this first roll was a 1.
Madam Zero seems to largely shake off most of that blow. And Daedalus, it is your action.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and harry Arctic Fox on the ground. I'll try to use my gravitic binders because I'm more interested in restraining him than trying to actually knock him out.
You fly over the edge of the building where Arctic Fox fell, and he has disappeared.
Oh, joy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, on the plus side, if I recall correctly, he's somewhat of a mercenary nature, so maybe we can avoid trouble as long as people don't keep paying him. In which case, I'll go ahead and scan to see if I see him, but given how he's skilled at hiding, I have my doubts. Total of 19 perception.
You do make out with your armor's sensors and equipment that it looks like Arctic Fox has gone inside the building.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
In which case, I'm going to fly back to. Did Star Knight wind up going through the skylight after all, or?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, no time like the present. I'm going to fly up and try to blast out the skylight.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and roll to hit the broadside of the barn.
Okay. Star Knight, have I skipped your turn somewhere in there?
No, I mean, I thought I was, if I'm last in the
Okay.
order, I should go.
Just making sure.
Omen even goes next, right?
Okay. So Daedalus is going through the skylight?
Yep.
Okay. And Omen, back to you, then Star Knight.
All right. I guess I will. Did Daedalus relay that Arctic Fox went in the building?
Not that I know
No, but it would have been a good thing for me to have said.
Yes, it would.
So if you happen to be asking, then he'll be using his free action to speak back, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Letting
Does
you know
anyone
that,
have
yes,
eyes
indeed.
on Arctic Fox?
Arctic
present
Fox seems
answer
to
is
have re-entered
no.
the building.
I can on my next turn.
All right. I will fire a patented snarrow at Madam Zero, and then I will head for the elevator to start looking for Arctic Fox.
Okay. Give me your attack roll against Madam Zero.
And oh, hold on, I lost my bola arrow. Ooh,
Alas, that will be a miss.
no. I've got a hero point. I'll hero point that one.
All right. Unfortunately, that is also a miss.
Okay. I will say, well, this isn't going so great. You guys got this. I'll go for the super soldier. That should be easier.
Is that still a miss with the +10 from the hero point?
Oh, it was just a 7. Yeah.
Okay.
That I rolled, so it's a 29.
That is a hit then.
Okay.
DC 18. Let's check that. Okay. But unfortunately, she does make her
Resistance. Okay.
check.
Gotcha. All right, I'll see if I can find Arctic Fox.
Okay.
And I run to the elevator.
Star Knight, your action.
All right. Well, I'm flying in through the skylight, and I am going to blast Coke Zero with all I've got here.
Okay.
And so I'll use a power attack.
Okay.
So I'll subtract 5 from my attack. Yeah.
Yep.
So I rolled a 4, so I'm gonna use a hero point to re-roll that.
Okay.
Okay. So that's would be a so I rolled a 10.
Add 10.
So I add 10, right? So 20. So it's a 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that include your -5?
No, so it'd be 25. Thank
25. Okay. That's still a hit though. So what's your damage +5?
So that is 15.
Okay. Let's see what you got there, Madam Zero. All right. Star Knight flies in through the skylight, unleashes a blast from her star sword, and it strikes Madam Zero, and she struggles against it for a moment, and then collapses to the floor. Bowman, you get down to what floor do you go down to?
I'm gonna go to the first floor.
Okay, you go down to the first floor, and the floor is the area is a little bit colder. It seems like the 2 mercenaries are still lying unconscious where you left them.
All right. I have goggles for like thermal stuff, I believe, in my equipment.
You do.
He's probably shielded from it, but yeah, I will use my infravision to look around for him. And it's extended vision as well. So
yep. You sweep the area. There is a slight advantage in the air is so cold. Heat sources show up exceptionally well in the surrounding environment. And you definitely pick up indications that someone recently made their way towards the lab on the far side.
all right. If it's, I wasn't sure if it was my turn, but I'll head that way.
Okay.
Looking around.
Give me a perception roll.
All righty. $23.
Okay. You make your way carefully down the hall, your senses on alert for any sign of movement or danger. And the hall is unusually quiet. The sounds of the fight coming from several floors up seem to have stopped, and everything is very quiet. As you approach the lab door, you notice that it seems slightly ajar. It's not quite closed.
And so this is the first floor. That's not the one we told the scientists to hide in, right?
It is.
It is, okay. I will sneak up towards the door and try to listen in to see if I hear anything.
All right. Be a stealth roll.
Try to out stealth the super spy.
All right. You get close enough to see that the reason the door is slightly ajar, it's slightly inward, is someone has clearly knocked it in. The latch is broken, and the door doesn't close quite completely anymore. You get close enough to the door, and you can hear, all you hear is just sort of a faint whimpering noise.
Dang. I guess I don't really have much choice. I'll barge in, arrow ready, and see what I see.
Arctic Fox is in the room. He has one arm around the neck of a young woman in probably her 20s or so, holding her against her back against his body. He towers head and shoulders over her. He's wearing a sort of white mask that's almost more of a helmet of a sort, with long slitted eyes and swept back fins that make his head look vaguely fox-like. He's dressed in heavy Arctic gear, all white, with bandoliers and belts of equipment. In one hand, his other free hand, he holds a small cylinder with a red button at the end of it. Every other person in the room has a small device attached to the front of their clothing with a tiny red light blinking on it. One false move, Bowman, and I will blow a hole in every person in this room.
So what's the plan here, Arctic Fox? You had your chance to run out into the snow, fell off a building.
You will turn Madam Zero over to me, and we will go.
Why Madam Zero? What are you planning?
That is my affair. Give me Madam Zero, and you can have their lives. And the rest of your city, for all I care.
So you don't necessarily care about her plan that she's doing. Okay. Madam Zero's upstairs. You can follow me.
I'm sure your teammates have incapacitated her by now.
There's good chance. Good chance. I'm not really in a position to make the handoff myself, though.
That's fine. I'm sure one of them can bring her downstairs to one of the snowcats outside will suffice.
All right. I'll call one of them and let them know what the plan is.
Please do.
Arctic Fox, I'm trusting that you're a man of some honor. You're not going to screw me over with this.
I'm a professional. Give me what I want, and their lives are yours. I have no more interest in this matter.
Bowman will get on the comms, and I'll explain the situation to Daedalus. We've got a hostage situation downstairs here. He's looking for a trade-off. Their lives for Madam Zero.
I don't trust this. This technology is dangerous as it is, and he has proven to be a dangerous. I don't trust this technology in his hands. Sorry, the Daedalus is kind of a stick in the mud about technology after all the various things that have happened in his life. But he will relay that on to the rest of the group that that is the situation, because he's also not necessarily the leader. So,
well, they're technically not leaving with the technology, just with the knowledge of how to recreate it. So in the short term, I suppose it's a question of how important their lives are versus our desire to bring them into justice. Out of character, I'm also going to be scanning for possible routes of escape. And yeah, if there are more snowcats, sure. Since he wanted to leave with one, I'll just get an idea of where they are.
Could I do a technology roll to see if this triggers like a dead man switch, where if he lets go, it goes off, or if he needs to press the button?
Mm-hmm. Why don't you give me a perception check? Would be fine, or technology if it's higher.
Not sure which is higher, actually.
Oh, that's pretty good.
His thumb is on the button. You think it is a dead man switch.
Dang. Okay. I'm not seeing another way around this, guys. We might have to go for it.
If he does betray us, then understand we will stop at nothing to get him. So it's in his best interest not to.
With a speedster here, though, I wonder if Johnny can just, I mean, if we make a fent as though we're going to give him Madam Zero, we fly down, we sort of above one of the snowcats, we get him coming out, we try to see if Johnny can remove the explosives from the hostages before he knows what's going on.
I'm also going to go ahead and have Daedalus see if he can disable Madam Zero's cryosuit so that that'll at least give Arctic Fox. He'll basically have to take care of her to keep her as an asset versus, her being able to walk on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and roll technology. Actually, I'll go ahead and take 10 on technology.
I was just going to say that's easy for you to do. You have no difficulty disabling the suit systems.
Yeah, I don't want to make it anything permanent because, well, she is a fellow human being. Life is precious, if impermanent. But yeah,
Mm.
otherwise, I guess we negotiate.
Yeah, this is not in character. Out of
Mhm.
character, do you think there's a way we could knock it out of his hand and Johnny catch it at that very instant to keep it pressed down?
Sure.
I kind of like the other idea of bringing Madame Zero down and then taking them out to the snowcat. And then while they're doing that, removing all the...
Oh, and then just get them outside.
Where exactly are these explosives?
Get the two bad guys outside. They're on the people.
Yeah, they're
That was
wearing
pretty
them.
fast work by him.
But seeing how quickly I can just remove them from the people
Hmm.
while they're
I'd be
outside.
impressed how fast and accurately Arctic Fox can throw.
Hmm. Or if I can transform them into something else before he can let go of the switch.
Ooh.
The question is whether he's just going to kill them anyways.
We don't know that,
Yeah.
but I can put myself in a spot in the wall where I can keep an eye on things and be ready, just ready in action to do that.
I could I actually
Mhm.
insight to see if I buy that he's gonna let them go whenever he said
Mhm.
that he's a professional and he sticks to that.
What's your insight bonus?
Probably not great. My insight bonus is a 7.
You think your impression of Arctic Fox is that he is very sincere.
Okay. All right.
Well, I think either of the two plans that have been suggested, either trying to knock it out of his hand and have Johnny catch it. I mean, come on, we're superheroes. I mean, alternative that I propose, especially with Dr. Metropolis also helping, right? He changes some of them,
Mhm.
Johnny removes other ones.
Yep.
Solid gold.
How gutsy are we feeling?
100, I mean, completely.
I'd be more comfortable with him not having a chance to kill them. But
Mhm.
well, what is it you heroes keep telling me about doing the hero thing and protecting the innocents and all that?
Mhm.
So would this take like a I think it's under deception for the innuendo thing
Mhm.
to like speak in code without him knowing that I'm
Yep.
gonna tell Johnny to catch the trigger,
Mhm.
and we're gonna do this.
Okay. Johnny, you
Okay.
know, I mean,
Oh.
and you all know each other's capabilities well enough. That is by no means certain. Johnny could do that, possibly. He's very fast. But he is not faster than a radio signal. So it would be a near thing. It's not by any means certain.
We would be gambling with their lives.
Yes.
Consider that.
It may or may not work.
I do
That's
have
why I
that.
think bringing her to him and having them out in the snowcat while I remove all the bombs from their bodies seems a little safer.
We could always take them out once the people are safe.
The problem I'm running into is I'm seeing on my sheet the complication thrill seeker,
Mm-hmm.
and this is pretty thrilling to attempt.
Without a doubt.
And unfortunately, he's away from the people who have better sense than him in the moment.
Well, we're talking on the comms.
We are, yeah, but not, yeah, that's true. Not
Right.
doing
So-
like full conversation, but
I'm assuming the characters would be discussing what to do, but
true. Yeah, it's not like he's hearing our comm. He would only hear my end of things. So
Mhm.
I will follow your lead on this.
oh god.
whatever is safest for the people there.
Okay. Yeah. Hearing the reminder that it matters to make sure the people are good, like just that reminder, Bowman would be like, okay, yeah, don't don't do the risky thing just because it could work. And yeah, so I'll tell him that we'll bring her outside.
All right. Add a hero point to Bowman's total. And
That's a call. I'll fly her down. Yeah.
all right. Star Knight, are you carrying Madame Zero down?
I am. I will.
Okay. Arctic Fox, with the keeping the slightly quietly sobbing woman close, moves slowly and deliberately out of the lab towards the emergency exit at the back of the building. His other hand holding the detonator with a casual amount of strength. He kicks the door open, and a howling wind carrying a cloud of snow blows in, although you can already tell that the force of the wind and the snowfall seems to be slacking. Yes, Dr. Metropolis.
Once he is safely away from there and not monitoring them, I will step out of the wall and I will transform all of the explosive into silly putty.
Okay.
It's unattended, so no real saves to speak of.
Give me a perception check.
Ah, good idea. There might be some way he's monitoring this. $19.
Yes, he is monitoring those devices.
Okay.
They are emitting a signal. So it is possible that he is aware of their status.
Okay. In that case, I will have to try something else.
How quickly can I remove them?
Pretty quickly. You don't necessarily know if you could remove them quickly enough to prevent any of them from exploding if they were all about to go off. But otherwise, very fast.
Mm-hmm. I'll wait then.
Arctic Fox half drags the hostage down towards one of the snowcats. The mercenary crew quickly get to attention as something is obviously happening. And the back of the vehicle opens. Star Knight flies down, holding the unconscious form of Madame Zero.
Oh, yes, I do inform the others. Sorry about the radio signal thing and that he's monitoring their devices. Sorry.
And Arctic Fox loosens his grip, plants his hand at the woman's back and gives her the slightest of shoves so that she stumbles away from him. Take her. Give me Madame Zero, and I will go.
So you're quite the gentleman, Arctic Fox, and I'll set her down in the snowcat.
With one hand, Arctic Fox picks Madame Zero up with a little more effort than if she were a sack, and slings her over one shoulder. He steps, walks into the back of the snowcat, and the door closes behind him. There is a humming, sort of revving noise as the vehicle revs up, and then the sound of a a sort of a clunk, and the sides of the snowcat fold out. It lifts up off of its treads with tiny retro rockets firing underneath it and takes off.
Did anyone else get in with him?
Two of his mercenaries were inside already.
Okay.
And are apparently piloting.
Would it be possible for me to fire a power stunted like tracking arrow on this vehicle?
Good.
Okay. I would like to do that.
Okay.
Daedalus, can you cut the signal for the explosives to receive?
Expect that shouldn't be an issue. I mean, he's can analyze it using his radio sense.
Yes, please do.
What's one more power stunt at this point? Do you need a roll at all, Steve, for that one?
I would like a technology check for, or perception check for Daedalus to analyze the radio signal.
Okay.
Okay.
24.
All right. Bowman, it is a simple matter for you to fire a tracking arrow. The magnetic head of it detaches when it hits the rapidly rising snowcat, the shaft of the arrow falling away. Daedalus, you think you've isolated the radio signal frequency? You'll need a technology check in order to come up with something to jam it, if that is your intention.
I'll probably just go ahead and take 10 for a total of 29 technology using my skill mastery.
Okay. You carefully analyze the radio signal and work on a jamming frequency. There is a complication. The signal itself is also a dead man switch. If you jam it prematurely, the devices will go off.
On the other hand, if he gets out of range, the devices will go off.
Well, it looks like there's a safe signal that can be sent, but you don't know what it is. It's coded. You would have to crack the potential code for it in order to fake it, essentially. That's a good deal more involved.
Well, I think he's going to at least start working on that. If all fails, if he fails at it, then I guess we're stuck with the deal we took with him.
The snowcat flies away and is very quickly lost from sight. The blizzard weather does begin to slack and die down. And a few minutes later, the devices are deactivated. All the explosive devices turn off.
Thank goodness for honorable villains.
Yeah, that was a risk.
You are, with the assistance of Bowman's tracker, eventually able to follow up on Arctic Fox's disappearance. And you find a largely abandoned hideout several miles outside of Freedom City. There is a trussed up Madam Zero with a brief, terse note that simply says, "This one doesn't have anything of any use to me." You later learn from Madam Zero that she had promised Arctic Fox that she had a medical treatment for the nerve disorder that his granddaughter suffered from. It allowed her to secure Arctic Fox's cooperation and access to his blizzard generator technology, which she was able to improve considerably. Unfortunately, she was lying. And once Arctic Fox found out that she didn't have anything of any use to him, he left her for the authorities and you.
Man.
As to whether or not you will see the mysterious mercenary again, well, we'll see. That's another adventure. Meanwhile, the Freedom League has saved Freedom City from a cold day in Midtown, as our adventure is called. Well done, everyone. I hope you had a good time.
But all the snow turned into cotton candy.
Right. Cotton candy for everyone.
Yes.
I can't believe we thought we were going to have a day off.
I wasn't even supposed to work today.
No rest for the heroic.
Wow.
But well done, everybody. Arctic Fox is a wily and challenging opponent, so
Sure.
you did well.
Well, thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for running.
Yes, thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much.
My
Awesome.
pleasure. We've got a few minutes left. If anybody has any questions, or we have any from our attendees in the chat, thank you for those of you who stuck in there and hung out with us through the whole evening.
For the thrilling conclusion.
Right?
Yeah. Wouldn't have wanted to miss that last 10 minutes. That was pretty wild.
That was wild.
Kind of curious. I was early on. I was thinking of having Daedalus try to invent a counter using a jury-rigged environment control device. But for one, I didn't do it because it seemed like that would make it all about him rather than everybody else. And for two, I wasn't certain how well the jury rigging would work in terms of a sustained thing, since it only lasts for a scene.
Indeed. I think that would have provided some temporary relief in a smaller area, certainly. And was certainly a tactic, that you could have adopted. But as you said, it would have been a temporary solution at best.
Second thing, and this is just a general rules thing, was I noticed that Daedalus build on this one had the skill for unarmed for close combat, which seemed to be adding to both his grab check and his unarmed attack.
I think that's correct, but I would have to double check to be sure.
Okay, I was curious because that often comes up in like the subreddit when people ask whether they add, and I remember the book at one point was saying they were different. So if you have unarmed, it only counts towards punching people, not towards trips and grabs.
Okay, that might be. Honestly, I don't recall off the top of my head.
Sorry, I know I'm personally is coming back to these the aura cues and errata and things like that.
No worries.
Always good to know.
Yeah, indeed. Cool.
Oh, I enjoyed the deep cuts for the various cold-based villains.
Yeah, that was cool.
At one point had Mad Maple in there as well, or?
Yep. He not appearing in this adventure, but he was mentioned. Yeah.
It'll probably be with the suggested how to make it go further. Add in Mad Maple.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So, yep. So Troy is telling me that we need to wrap up. So thank you guys again for joining us. Hope everybody had a good time. I hope that we can, eventually run some other Patreon games. I know Alex and I have been talking about the possibility down the road. So thanks again. And have a good night, everybody.